Okay, then Agile. I think we have spoken quite a bit about Agile, so not going to spend too much time here. And certainly from a banking perspective, we've seen our attempts at adopting Agile has mixed results. Again, Agile by definition is something that is contrary to the modern day organization. Agile is about short iterative cycles of product development, whereas the modern day firm, as I said, is built on longer timelines of product life cycles. And unfortunately, those are catastrophic for industries today, because if you have an 18-month period in which you're trying to take a product to market, I can guarantee you that from the time you start that project till the time that you actually launch it, it's going to become completely irrelevant. So these short work cycles is the sort of primary principle behind Agile. And I've got lots of courses you can go and browse on Agile. I'm actually releasing a lot of courses this year from my PhD, really geared towards enabling leaders to understand how to manage and run Agile teams. And there still is a role for management. I certainly believe there is, but it's more about creating the environment within which people can adopt, as I mentioned there, the 12 key principles of Agile in the Agile Manifesto, one of which is the fifth principle, which I based my PhD on, is this idea of the supportive, trusting environment within which individuals can get on and do their job. And often the technical experts inside those Agile teams know a lot more about the work that they need to do than the managers. You think about the change. If you've spoken to your computer science colleagues on campus, the speed at which new programming languages are being adopted and made available, and through which innovation and digital transformation is being driven, managers just simply can't keep up. So they cannot hope to control at a detailed design level the products that they're implementing. What they can do is create the right environments within which those experts who know the technical details better than them can actually succeed. And that requires this shift, from management to servant leadership, to saying, how can I best serve my team? How can I use my organizational authority and my organizational power and put that power and that authority at the disposal of the team? How can I unblock the challenges that my team is having in order for them to deliver value? I want to jump on to customer experience because, this is such an important topic. And certainly in First Rand, we've got large-scale efforts underway, really to embed proper customer experience best practices in everything that we do. We've done a lot of research on best practice, and we've, certainly aware of the shortcomings. We may be one group as First Rand, but between Westbank and FNB and RMB, you could be customers of each of those, but you might feel like you're in completely different companies. Now, part of First Rand's digital transformation journey is to say that we have a single digital enterprise platform that consists of multiple capabilities that we strategically invest in, but through which we make available, innovative and unique customer experiences as part of the main bank relationship that our customers may have. So a customer may trust us through the FNB brand or through the Westbank brand, but that customer experience layer gives them access into the First Rand ecosystem and the capabilities that we make available to all users of the platform. What that does then is it should free up, these customer-facing teams to worry more about the customer experience and less about how they fulfill on that through the implementation and delivery of those capabilities, because now, instead of building those in the silos and the vertical constructs that run all the way through from the brand that the customer has the trust and the relationship, all the way through to the databases and the customer information, that customer experience really exists to the degree that the customer finds it useful. Beyond that and within that, it's a First Rand platform that is there and available to the benefit of everybody else. RMB Private Bank, for example, if you in the future become an RMB Private Banking customer, that is completely fulfilled and delivered by another division in FNB. And it really is literally then, that association of the brand through the badge on the credit card. And for many, it's a mark of achievement and a measure of success. And that's how the RMB brand creates value, for our ecosystem of customers. But the reality is that in that customer experience only, and below that, the capabilities and the fulfillment on those RMB private banking services are actually done by common First Rand capabilities for everybody. Now, what's very important there, that fourth bullet point, is that banking in general runs that same risk where over-the-top providers actually start to own that customer relationship, and then they see our services as being a utility on the back end. Now, different banks have different responses to this. Nedbank have positioned themselves as more of a utility provider, and can manage things like payments and other financial services and products. And if other, companies and products want to white label those services, then they don't mind being a utility. FirstRand has been very clear that we want to own and manage, the entire ecosystem, but within which we then make available those value-adding products and services. The challenge that we have is to design a compelling customer experience that keeps people in the ecosystem and draws them in and gives them everything that they need, so that they don't need to, multi-bank or to go to aggregators to get the best of the banking industry. We should offer the best of the banking industry in that unique customer experience, even though there might be a Westbank logo or an FNB logo or an RMB logo on that. It's the best available in the industry within the brand that you trust the most. And as I said earlier, driven largely by change in sentiment to banks and a loss of trust in the meltdown of 2008 and the banking crisis that obviously resulted in a number of banks having to be propped up and many banks going out of business, was a real awakening. Was to say, at the end of the day, we exist for our customers. We exist to deliver value to our shareholders, and it is that experience that must drive everything that we do. And we must take that customer experience. And what we did in CodeFest, and I talk about this in the course, was we invited customers into CodeFest, and we said, tell us our worst experience of us, and then we're going to design a much better example of that, and we're going to work it all the way back inwards to see what we need to fix in order to deliver that on the front end. And you've got to have both. You can't just put a fancy front end or a fancy website on a broken internal process or a lethargic, bureaucratized internal operating model. It's got to be, best of breed customer experience supported by, well architected capabilities and processes all the way through to the very inner parts of the organization.